it's me Zoe. I have taken up residence in the spare room in my house to teach you yoga. So I hope you're feeling okay. Hope you're not finding not going out as much quite interesting. Things that I've changed, I've stopped going to big shops. I went to Co-op the other day on Friday just to do an errand for the neighbours. I got a lady some bread and some lemonade. And I was just keeping my distance, and even in the queue I was just like backing away from people, trying to keep a big distance between me and the next person. This lady kept trying to talk to me and I kept like backing away from her. And then even like in my little local shop I've been doing the same thing. You know, there's somebody getting some milk out and I stood back and I was waiting for him to go so I can get some other milk, and this man just barged past me and just kind of, and I looked and thought, oh my god, I'm trying to be really good and you just barged past. But you know, it's a small. I'm just trying to stick to smaller spaces and not going to big mass gatherings. And you know, we're going walking. Like me, my son, and my husband are still like hanging out together. But if we see anybody else crossing the road, we're just trying to be mindful of other people, really. So yeah, do that. Don't go out, whatever. Just yeah, keep safe is a big thing. Do whatever they're saying on the TV. Anyway, so yeah, because I can't see you and I don't know what you've been doing in the past week and what have you, I just obviously just want to remind you that you should be practicing, listening to your own bodies, you know, doing what is right for your body and not just following me because I'm doing stuff in front of you. Anyway, so that's that. So I'd like to kind of start seated if you don't mind. So make sure you can sit comfortably, sit however you like. I'm comfortable sitting with my feet underneath me. I'm equally comfortable sitting cross-legged. You know, I've got a lovely wall here. Ooh, look at me with the wall. So if you need to sit with your back against the wall, do that. I've got a little cushion. I'm just going to grab. I had a block, but I'm actually using it to prop my camera on. You know, you can sit on a cushion. All my other ones, I've just washed them. They're all sitting in the shower. Anyway, so but yeah, make something comfortable. I'd imagine at your house you haven't got all the yoga equipment you ever need. So yeah. If you need to use anything else, sit on an armchair if you want to start the lesson. Anyway, so sitting comfortably, I just want you to close your eyes. I just want to start the lesson with a bit of a moving meditation. So just beginning to circle your pelvis. So I'm just kind of following what I can feel on the cushion beneath me. I can feel weight going to pubic bone, towards my right buttock, towards my tailbone, towards my left buttock. And just begin just to take my focus further up the spine to my rib cage. And I'm just observing the circle that my rib cage is drawing. And then I'm moving up to my head and I'm just observing the circle that my head is drawing. I'm just keeping my breath in my focus as well. It's not the forefront of my focus. I think sometimes it's nice just to tune into what you're feeling physically is more important than the breath. I'm not really one for pushing into pain and going for the goal. I'm just going to slow that movement down. And then I'm just going to open my eyes. And then I'm going to take the movement into my hands, into my arms. I'm just going to place fingertips on shoulders and begin to draw some circles. The most underrated yoga pose is this one. We always tend to think, oh, you know, a lot of people that go to do yoga and they're like, oh, I really like a good stretch, or, you know, stretch always gets mentioned. But, you know, yoga to me is all about movement, about mobility, about getting to know yourself. And from that, you know, you will sometimes begin to feel releasing muscles. It might take a long time. And also you get stronger. I mean, moving these arms are going to make you nice and strong. So relaxing the hands. And then I'm going to take my arm across me. I have no idea which way this translates at, but this is my left arm. It might look like the right arm to you. So I'm quite comfortable bringing my hands to the upper arm, but you might be happy bringing it lower down. Just make sure you're tucking the shoulder down the back. And I also quite look in towards the shoulder of the arm that you're working at. And we're just going to take some breath and our awareness to the back of the shoulder, the outside edge of the arm, and the ribs on this side as well. So relaxing my arm, I'm going to look the other way and taking the other arm across the chest. So again, hand here, hand here. You might even choose to work in this way. Again, just make sure the shoulder isn't crunched up. Let me feel that the shoulder is placed on the back, and again look into the shoulder. Lowering arms down. So now I'm going to bring my hands above my head like a little box, and I'm just placing one hand on the head. If that's one way of doing this, or you can take the hand and actually drop it behind your head. The other hand is going to reach towards the elbow, and again we're just going to keep this shoulder down. So we don't want the shoulder to be lifting up and pulling up the back, so keep the shoulder down, and then we're just going to begin to gently press on the elbow with the hand. And so you're just going to try and keep the shoulder down as you pull onto the elbow. You can add in a little pandiculation here. So pandiculation is when you kind of go against the movement. So the movement is actually this way. So what I'm going to now start to do is to push this elbow that's above my head outwards in that direction. But then this hand is going to pull in the other direction. So you're going to feel resistance. So I'm pushing the elbow out as the hand pulls on the elbow. Now I'm going to stop trying to push the elbow out to the side and let the hand pull the elbow. And again, you're listening to sensation. I'm going to inhale again, pushing the elbow that way. The hand is pulling the elbow this way. And then I'm going to exhale, relax the elbow, and again let the hand take the elbow a little bit. And again, I'm just listening and feeling. One more time, inhaling, pushing the elbow out, pulling with the hand, and exhaling, relaxing the elbow and taking the hand into the elbow and pulling in that direction. And then placing my arms down, giving a circle. So again, you didn't have to do the pandiculation if you just wanted to keep the elbow up and just kind of work that way. That is just as good. So I'm now going to place my other hand. Again, it can go on the head. Mine's having behind the back of the head. The other hand is going to the elbow. And again, I'm going to just pause here so I can keep it as it is. Shoulder blade down. Now I'm going to start to now take the elbow out that way as the hand pulls the elbow this way. So you're going to cause resistance if you wish, but you don't have to. Inhaling. Exhaling, relaxing the elbow and let the hand take the elbow. Inhaling, elbow pushes towards the door. Exhaling. Inhale. nice little shoulders. So I'm going to change position. The next movement is going to be a forward fold. So I'm happy with my legs crossed, but if you don't feel happy with your legs crossed, you again might maybe want to do this. You might want to have your legs in front of you, your thighs in front of you, and let your belly go onto your thighs and drop your hands down. So that is one really lovely way of releasing into the lower back. I've got a chair here, so you might choose off camera to use a chair. So you might be happily sitting with your legs crossed. I would say use a block. You can also have a block in front of you, so you could always place your hand on a lower block and walk forward. But you could also kind of, you know, maybe have your legs out in this position. You might have your legs in this position. You might choose to put your hands onto a chair and allow yourself to come forward. So I'm just going to move that chair a little bit further away. There you go. And just letting your head begin to relax into the space between your arms. So that is a really nice way of working. But you might also equally choose to place your hands down and walk them away from you, staying on the fingertips. And just starting to settle into the hips. And again, just make sure you're sitting in a way that feels good for you, that's good for your back, that feels good for your hips. Obviously, I'm not here just to kind of look and think, oh, that doesn't look very comfortable. So, you know, you've always got to be working and listening and be mindful to yourself, particularly if you're working in this way. Walking yourself again back in towards your sitting position. So I want to move into a twist next. So again, sitting down, we can sit like this, we can sit like in front of us, use your chair if you need to. So obviously sitting nice and tall is a key thing. If you're using a chair, you can always take your hand behind the back of the chair in some way, or just to kind of hold onto the side of the chair to help you with the twist. But every twist, whichever foundation you're using, be it chair or ground, should start from a nice upright pelvis. So just rock again on your sit bones, make sure that they feel nice and connected to the floor. So, you know, you kind of want to think about your pelvis being upright like a little bowl. And then from there on, we've got a lovely neutral spine. So we're not trying to push ribs forwards and lift up with all our might. It's about having a bit of softness and just feeling your ribs connected over the front of the pelvis. So now I'm looking over my left shoulder. I'm taking my left hand to the floor behind me, and again, I'm not dropping into the hand. The weight is still in the hips, and my body position, you know, it really hasn't changed apart from the hand being in a different place and the chest turning. Then I'm bringing the right hand across the knee, and then looking over the shoulder. Just beginning to squeeze the shoulder back towards the spine. Just noticing how that guides the chest around, and then mindfully just checking I'm not pushing ribs forwards, that those ribs are resting over the pelvis. And then going the other way. So there's still lots of work going through the right shoulder now. Just keep trying to pull it back towards the spine. Just feel how it pulls the body round, but you've always got to be mindful of how you're feeling your sacrum. So your sacrum is the bone at the back of the hips. Often when people have aches and pains there, so we're not trying to wrench ourselves around because you'll feel it in that place there. So softness here. We are just warming up still at this moment in time. And turning back to the front of the mat. I'm going to take ourselves into a little side bend. So placing your hand again, maybe on the side of the chair, maybe onto a chair leg or onto the floor by your side. I do like fingertips, I don't like to drop into a hand. And then I'm going to take the other hand and place it behind the back. I can move this later, but again, I always like to start in the easiest position and then move into something a little bit different. So now I'm just thinking about trying to keep this sit bone on the floor, so my right sit bone. And I'm going to again keep the ribs and pushing forward, so ribs over the hips, and beginning to walk my left hand out to the side, and then looking up over my right shoulder, just trying to keep the right sit bone down, ribs tucked in. And I find this quite comfortable, and a lot of people might do, but I also like reaching the hand out with the palm turned out. I also like taking my hand up to the ceiling and reaching up. And I'm quite happy taking the hand over my head, but if you kind of notice you start to turn, you can feel the pull in the hips and the ribs, bring it back out. So you want to kind of think of your heart facing outwards at all times, so it's just going to be a matter of just kind of placing that hand in a good way, and you're reaching up, spreading from the heart centre all the way to fingers. Taking the hand back out, I'm now going to think about these ribs on the right, the muscles pulling me back to centre, so I'm just going to begin to squeeze them in, coming back to centre, and again placing the hand down. So again, you might move the hand onto a chair leg, fingertips to the floor. If you're staying on the floor, ribs are in, so you can always maybe just place your thumb and little finger on the ribs and pelvis, and then begin to walk your right hand out. I'm just going to get the expansion down through the left side. Again, maybe taking the hand away and beginning to take the hand up to the ceiling or maybe somewhere else. Again, think about these muscles on the left, pulling in to guide me back, and then relaxing. Just taking your focus to the shoulders and ribs. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to come into cat-cow and moving into, obviously, coming towards, try to stand in. So hands are going to be on the floor, knees going to be under hips, toes tucked under. And take a big deep in breath, tuck the tailbone, let your head fall forwards. And as you exhale, lift your tailbone and begin to look towards the space in front of you. Inhaling, looking down towards the hands, pushing down through fingers. And exhaling, lifting the tailbone and looking forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling, coming back up to cat-cow into cat. Foot and feet, cat, cow, and cat, and exhale. So just think about the spine really, mobilising all those joints at the moment in time. I'm going to come down towards child's pose now. I'm going to keep my arms nice and straight in front of me with the palms spread and the elbows nice and not locked, but you can feel the bones going from the shoulder down through the bones of the arm into the hand. And then I'm going to take myself, I'm just going to move back a little bit because I'm actually going to headbutt my chair is what I'm going to do. There you go. So, we're going to come up from this position. So I want you to think about your hands bringing you up. So keep your hands planted, keep your arms straight and come up to all fours. And then think about your hands pushing you back down and onto your heels. Inhale, hands pull you up. Exhale, hands push you back down. Inhale, hands pull you up. Exhale, hands push you back down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So inhale if you wish, pull yourself up. And as you exhale, begin to relax your hips towards the floor. Inhale, hands are going to push you back up. And again, exhale down. If you wish, come all the way down into child. But you might prefer to be more upright. Inhale, pulling up with your hands. And exhale, transferring the weight into your hands. Allow your hips to begin to relax the floor. Just keep your gaze forwards. Try not to slump so your hands are still pushing down. Inhale, hands push forwards. And exhale, sink down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale. So hands push you back. Exhale, sink down. So we're going to just, we can maybe, if you want to at any point, just kind of have a pause. You can always come into child. You can have a little seat. I'm going to take us down towards the floor this time. So I'm going to inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. I'm bending my arms. I'm going to just peer off camera probably. There you go, coming down to the floor. So keeping those hands nicely rooted. Push with your hands, rise up. Keep your hands pushing forwards and again sinking down. So again, use your hands to pull up. Coming back into your cobra. Bending elbows, so hands stay still. So slowly lower down. Imagine you're going to be like you're on a really hot surface, a hot towel or a hot beach. And you don't, that'd be nice. And you feel your thighs coming down, your pelvis coming down, your belly coming down. Again, relax down. And then again, inhale, push with your hands, rise up. Push your hands forwards and again, sink down. So you might choose just to do some of this or all of this. I mean, it's always nice sometimes just to think, no, I'm going to come back to cat-cow. So mix it up. You might, do you know what? I'm going to implore you now to add in your own little sequence. So you might just want to come up and come into cat-cow. You might carry on the journey and come into up dog. You might push back and come into child's pose. If you come from child's pose, explore coming up by pushing with your shins into the floor and feel that movement push you up. And you might think, oh, that feels nice, come all the way down. So have a little play. I'm just going to do what I like doing, but I'm just going to ask you to do what you like doing for this moment in time. It might be just going to stop and stare at me. I'm going, this is nice. I really like watching yoga and not actually doing it. So do what you want to do just for these next few moments before I tell you what else to do. I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes because I completely forgot what I'm doing. Now I remember. So let's take ourselves again into child's pose and just bring your forehead down toward your hands. You can stack your fists, that's quite nice, it releases the back a little bit more. Forehead to the floor. And again, if child pose has never been your best friend, you are very welcome to sit with your belly on your thighs. You're very welcome to even roll onto your back and just come into happy baby or just hug your knees in. You're creating the same shape, whatever. So let's start to think about coming to standing next. So Hi, here the part two. So I want to now go into the standing sequence. So the standing sequence today, you might need to have a chair again at the ready. It's going to involve rolling up into standing. It's going to involve some warriors. My warriors, I have adapted them from classic. I like it so everything faces the front of the mat, so footprints, hips, chest, head. So basically, if you tend to stand into a warrior and you always feel your hip turn, like you're keeping the front of the body turned, facing forward, but you turn the hip in. There's going to be an adjustment in your pelvis. It's going to be slightly turned out, and any corrections is going to be through that lower back. So we want to just keep everything facing forwards. I also adapt it so it's actually quite challenging for your hips because hips need to be stronger, really, I think, for everybody. So I always like to have the back heel lifted, and then it's taking the knee towards the floor. So when you're doing that, if you tend to notice that your knee's here, explore taking foot a little bit further back, and you might have a chair, have it in front of you to hold on to. So here's my chair again. Or you might even want to use the wall to hold on to. And so let's make a little start. So come into the front of your mat, looking down towards your feet. Look at the space between your heels and bend your knees. Allow the back to round and look down towards your feet. And then we're going to just begin to push gently down into the legs and allow ourselves to roll up to standing. So hips are pushed forward, spine is lengthened back, taking your hands up if that is comfortable. Bring your tailbone back over your heels and guide your hands to heart. Stepping your left foot back behind you. So my back heel is lifted. Everything is facing the front of the mat. I can feel that my lower ribs are over the front of my pelvis. Now to come down to my warrior, I'm bending my left knee. This is going to keep my heel over ankle. And you can see my right big toe. So I feel like I'm balancing the pelvis up, and then everything, the spinal column is balanced, keeping the natural curve. So I can feel my lower back as a curve, feel my neck as a curve. And I'm comfortable about taking my arms up. So take your arms up, take them into cactus. Keep them on the hips, have them down, play with where the hands are going to go. And it's this back knee that is going towards the floor. And I'm just trying to keep this front knee over the ankle. So if you notice this is happening, you've gone too far, bring it back. 5 breaths. 6 breaths. 7 breaths. 8 breaths. Pushing down and stepping in. So I'm going to now come into something like a tree pose. So staying there in front of your mat. So it's going to be left foot coming over towards the floor, maybe holding onto walls if you need to. The foot might come to shin. I'm happy going a little bit higher, taking the foot to the thigh. And whoopsie-daisy, whoa, falling over. I am happy beginning to bend my right knee and taking a seat. So I'm just going to explore this. Hopefully you're all doing the same now. And if you're going into the seated one, be honest, are you rounding the spine to come lower? So you want to be bending the right knee to come lower. Feeling the toes spreading. So again, you might choose to come up, you might choose to adapt and come into a different pose completely. Either you can hear humming, that's my son playing with his cars. So pushing with your right foot, step your left foot back, and again reposition, landing on the ball of the foot, pelvis is going to stay nice and upright, coming back to our warrior. So leading with the left knee towards the floor, staying here for 10 breaths. So again, using the chair if you need to hold on for support, using the hand if you need to hold on for support. Change where the hands need to be. Be honest, your hands might want to stay at heart. Squeeze your right heel slightly to centre. And pushing in again and repeating. So I'm crossing the foot directly onto that thigh because I am comfortable. And then I'm taking again myself into the little knee chair for 10 breaths. pushing, stepping back, landing the feet, and this time lands the feet. Everything faces forwards, hips, feet, chest, and then taking your hands onto the back. So this is just, I'm just going to show you this once. So if you tend to, so we're going into a Parsvatanasana, which is a movement from the pelvis. And if you tend to find that your pelvis moves and then you start to notice this is hacking with your hands, that is the fact that your hamstrings have stopped moving, your pelvis stopped moving, and actually it's your back that's moving. So we're going to stop firstly when the back stops moving, and then we're going to make some little adjustments. So always make sure your front knee isn't locked out, we have the softness behind the knee, that the back heel is resting into the floor. Lower the gaze down towards the direction of travel, and then exhale, pelvis folds. So my hands are staying still, and so you might want to place your hands on a chair, might be a little bit higher. Check if you suffer from conditions where you're not allowed to take head below heart. Hands might be down on ankles. Hands might be coming down to the floor. You might be having some blocks, place blocks in the hands, they're quite good. And then when you feel that you want to, if you want, you've got that spine nice and long, begin to bend the elbows, and you're going to notice your lower back, and then your ribs, and then your neck. And we're just staying here for 8 more breaths. So bend your right knee, push into it to step forwards, and I'm just going to turn around because I like to do that. I just like to face the camera in some way. So lowering the gaze down towards the feet, relax the shoulders, relax the hips, bend the knees, and then push down with the feet, legs begin to straighten, pelvis begins to push forwards, lengthening up. So keep lengthening up through the spine, hands come up, tailbone moves back, hands to heart. Stepping your right foot back. So again, always make sure that you can tell where that right knee is in relation to the pelvis. Feet are forwards. Lift your back heel and then take the knee towards the floor. Squeeze the heel slightly into centre. I just realised there's a monkey on that one. Taking your hands up if you need to. So again, just make sure you can see the front big toe on the inner edge of the knee. And again, the knee is behind the front of the pelvis. Pushing down with the front foot, crossing over. So just to close this one, I'm going to now place that right foot somewhere near the shin. So again, finding my grounding. So I'm just going to stay here just so you don't feel you have to go into the full chair position to start with. So you're just going to keep the standing leg slightly soft, feel the toes spreading to the floor. Now I am going to adapt just for people that do want to go that little bit deeper. So it's the pelvis is hinging. Feel the spine is tall and the knee going over toes. Straighten and stepping back, so we're coming back to our warrior position again. So feet are forwards, hips are forwards, chest is forwards, lifting the pushing down through the toes, taking the knee towards the floor. Pelvis is upright, ribs are over hips, arms are wherever you want them to be. Pushing down, coming back to your tree position. Keep moving towards this wall. And again, 10 breaths. pushing up, stepping back, landing the foot. So again, chair at the ready if you need it. Taking your gaze down towards the direction of travel, hands to the lower back, front knee slightly soft, feet forwards, hips are forwards, and exhale. Feel the pelvis tilting. Taking your gaze down, finding support for hands, never hang. I always like to have a hand on a shin, fingertips to the floor, hand on a block, hand on a chair, never hang. Eight more breaths. So let's take ourselves down towards the floor, shall we? So, I'd like to end with a twist. Well, a few little bits and pieces actually. This is a bit of a somatic twist. It's more about tuning into how you feel your muscles, really, I would say. So let's come down firstly. We've got like a bit of a, it's like a hip wiggle I'd call it. So laying down with your feet in front of your hips and yourself, obviously yourself, laying down on the floor. So I'll just, this is, in fact, I'll show you what we're going to do. Imagine that I'm laying on the floor. Imagine that my knees are bent, my feet are on the floor behind me. This is what I would look like if you were looking down at me from the ceiling. So as I'm laying on the floor, I'm just going to picture the muscles on my left side. So this might look like the right to you, but it's certainly my left side. And I'm just going to picture really the muscles here. We've got two layers of muscles. One of the well, there's lots of layers of muscles. One I'm interested in is your psoas muscle. So here's your ribs. You've got 5 vertebrae. I forget 5 vertebrae, and then you've got your pelvis, and then you've got your thigh bones. And this psoas muscle connects from your diaphragm, which sits underneath your ribs, goes through these 5 vertebrae, connects to them, I should say, passes through the pelvis and connects right there in the edge of the top of the thigh. And its function is stability of the spine, but it also flexes us, but it also pulls us to the side. On the back of the body, same place, we've got the QL muscles. They get quite tight. Mine's constantly tender, and I think it's because I walk with a bit of a lean. It's all about how I feel that I am standing. I think I'm straight and actually a bit wonky. Anyway, so we're going to visualise these muscles. So imagine again, I'm lying on the floor, I'm picturing these muscles, and I'm picturing them pulling them in towards the spine. And as I picture them pulling towards the spine, look, I'm doing it now, I'm feeling it. See how I'm beginning to tilt to one side. So you'll be doing this on the floor. You're going to feel your pelvis moving up towards your armpit and your armpit moving down towards your pelvis. Relax and come back to centre. We're just going to repeat that a few times, and then we're going to do it on the opposite side. So I'm just going to do it and talk you through it now. So take yourself down to the floor, with your feet on the floor, hands down by your side. Picturing those muscles I've just been talking about, front and back. And just start in that sense of squeeze, and just notice how your pelvis begins to creep up. You might feel a bit of tenderness actually. I do feel tenderness on my left side, and my head is beginning to roll towards my left shoulder. And then I'm just going to relax it and just let my head come back to centre. And I'm just again squeezing those muscles gently in. And again relaxing. I can feel it in my back actually, so it would be a good like anatomy lesson to know what muscles you can feel. I can feel my right side lengthening away, so that right hip is tilting towards the bottom of the mat. My back is rooted, I'm not arching, you know, there's none of this. I just keep that support through the back on the floor. And just let your head turn if that feels good. And then I'm going to take it to the opposite side, so picturing the right side of the body, squeeze it in. And then doing both sides, left side, right side, left side, right side, left side. And then relaxing in the middle. Just let your feet begin just to come together. Feet, knees are still bent. And then I'm going to drop my knees to the left. Just let your arms just kind of roll away from the body a little bit. So your right hip, my right hips come away from the floor, and it doesn't matter what your knees are doing. Knees will sit in different places depending on the person. And I'm now looking towards my right shoulder, but just for the purposes, I'm just going to talk to the camera. I'll come up again. So we're going to again visualise those muscles doing a job. So as you're laying down, how can I demonstrate this? I'm just going to turn my knees that way. Yeah, there you go. So on the floor. There. You look a bit like this. So that'd be the toes on the floor, arms are out, knees are out to the side again. There you go. So something like that. I'm going to be visualising the muscles on one side of the body working. And what it's going to do is bring the knees up. So if my knees are to the left, I'm going to be focusing on the muscles on the right, squeezing into the spine, and that is going to lift the knees. And all we're going to do is pull them in and let them go. Don't go all the way over into twist. So I'll just demonstrate quickly. So again, here is myself. So my knees are to the left, I'm looking to the right. And I'm now visualising these muscles on the right, pulling them in towards the spine, and the knees have lifted, and I'm just drop them. Doing that again, squeezing the hips and muscles in, and then dropping them. And then pulling the muscles in, keep pulling the muscles in, rolling all the way across to the opposite side and taking the gaze to the opposite side. And now I'm going to pull in the muscles on the left and then let them go. So I don't need to lift the knees. Don't see this as the hip from the, you should feel it from the middle of the body. Pulling the muscles in, knees begin to magically lift, and again, exhale, let them go. You might even feel it in the shoulder as well, because it's a big connection through this line of fascia. So I'm going to pull in, roll into centre, and let the knees go the other way, and then maybe just alternate it, pulling the hips, the muscles of the belly in, rolling all the way to centre, and knees go the other way. Pulling the muscles in, rolling all the way to centre, knees go the other way. Just play with this in your own way. Allow yourself to settle on one side if you wish. Just stay there for 8 breaths. So I'm just going to move out of position because it just looks a bit weird and roll around on the floor. But whatever side you're on, stay there for 8 breaths. And then beginning to again use those muscles of the core to pull in, let the knees roll to centre, roll across the pelvis, and let the knees go the other way. And settle there for 8 breaths. Just let go of all the tension through the knees, ear, thighs, shoulders. Maybe turn the head a few times. So you should be looking to the opposite shoulder in the direction of the knees. So I'm coming to lie down. I'll come into seated, whichever you feel that you want to do. So we're just going to go through the pranayama practice. To me, pranayama is nicely done sitting. So again, I'm sitting in a weird-like position, but you know, you might want to choose a chair, to use a wall, to put a cushion underneath you. And I think for me, sitting's nice for pranayama just because you feel it more in the spine, the places that you work in. But if you want to lie down, please feel free. So just want you to place a hand on your tummy. And as you take an inhale, feel your belly just swelling out in front of you. And as you exhale, squeeze the belly button back towards the spine. Allow that breath to squish out of the body. Inhale, relax the belly, feel the belly swell. And exhale, pull the navel back, let it squish the breath out. I'm just going to be quiet now so I can feel it too. Hold the belly button in, squeeze lightly the pelvic floor and take your awareness to the chest. Place a hand on the chest. So keeping the navel in, pelvic floor switched on. So it's a light gripping of the pelvic floor. Maybe place your hands under the ribs and just feeling your ribs expanding. Place a hand on the chest again, still breathing the same way. Lowering your hands down to your lap, relax the belly. Pick the shoulders up, roll them round, back and down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale, relax the shoulders. And then just spend some time with sensation and breath. Just notice how your breath comes to you at this moment in time. If you wish to lie down, and just stay again connected to your breath. Just stay there as long as you like. I'm going to stop filming now. I hope you've enjoyed what we've done. I've also hope you've enjoyed the singing of my son. He's just so jolly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Namaste. Stay there if you want.